Jeff Gordon, and you're watching Racing America.
Well, hey, welcome into your favorite racing talk show this week on a Wednesday, hump day edition of the Revved Sports Show. Showtime Bobby Chaffee right here. Rodney Rodriguez is the man on your left-hand side of the screen. Partner, we moved it back a day, but that's all right. What has your hump day been like today?
We had to wait till October. That's kind of, you start on October 1st, right? It's all bullshit.
The federal budget's supposed to start on October 1st.
Well, but the government's closed, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Still, at least the last time I checked, it was.
I don't have to pay no taxes. All right. I can't wait to get my.
If only it were that simple. I wish. I
can't wait to get my next paycheck, my man. I'm going to be so excited next time I get a paycheck rolling in. No taxes. Yeah, right.
Yeah. The big wheel keeps on turning. What is that song?
Yeah. What a mess! I'll tell you. It's like how's the country functioning? Hell, I guess maybe better, right? Because the government owes everybody money, so I guess we're doing better at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's some essential functions are working, but other than that, I think the majority of stuff, like all your national parks, should be closed. I think till tomorrow, or starting tomorrow, and stuff like that. So it's you'll notice a few things shut down, but not. I also heard at one point, if I remember correctly, that the service academies can't play football. Because they can't transport them. So I don't know. It's supposed to be the Commander-in-Chief trophy this weekend between Air Force and Navy. I think is this weekend, unless it was last weekend. But I think it's Air Force and Navy this weekend for part of the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. So we'll see how that game shakes out.
You start messing with football, and that's when shit gets fixed. So if football's getting delayed, not only does football ruin NASCAR, but it causes like major things. So hopefully that'll fix it. But I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. Air Force at Navy, so they got to fly across the country. That's gonna be rough. That's an 11 a.m. kick for Air Force.
Oh man, well maybe
coming out of Colorado, so that's gonna be a tough ride there for the Falcons.
Maybe they'll luck out and not have to play it. Maybe that'll all work out. Hey, welcome in everybody. And this show is live all the time, and it looks like it's working because we get. I don't know what's gone on the last couple of times, but live comments are popping in, so that's a good thing. So if you're checking this out, be sure and comment live because we got a lot of topics to talk about. We'll talk about big races coming up, big races that have passed. On the short track side, got to dig into some NASCAR. A lot to talk about on the NASCAR side, whether you like it or not. Talk about all that stuff. What else? Oh, yeah. Chase Havely's going to join us. Havely, whichever. I call, as Rusty Young used to call him, Haverly. Chase Havely.
Netflix spelled his name right, I think.
Yeah. He's going to join us at 7:10, kind of in our Living the Dream series. We got a couple of different series here where it's like Living the Dream, folks that have ascended themselves into that echelon. So we'll talk to Chase here momentarily, probably in about 5 minutes. And then and then our other, of course, is the Legend series, which we'll kind of dig into a little bit more in the off season. It's a little bit easier to maneuver that one, it seems like, in the off season, because it's a little more downtime in those 2 months.
Well, I mean, we still got some big races, but we get a little bit more flexibility, if you will. We don't get to give our hot take on NASCAR as much because there's not as much NASCAR.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's like a lot of like the legends. I mean, who truly are legends. I mean, especially on the short track side, when you talk about guys, I mean, like Mike Garvey, for example, is a guy that I want to talk to here pretty soon. That's a dude that's still very involved in short track racing. So that's a guy that has just an illustrious career behind the wheel, but he's still doing a lot of things. So like, if you want to talk to him, it's that's a guy where he's got shit to do right now, during racing season.
Yeah, well, I had to calm down a little bit during racing season, but
Yep. Lindsay, Martha, Tim Sewell. Oh, you want to talk about drama? We can get into that one too, because jeez Louise, for crying out loud, man, this shit's supposed to be fun, isn't it?
It's supposed to be fun, but not anymore.
Look at there, proud papa right there. There's Jeff checking in. Jeff, I got your voicemail about 5 minutes ago. I mean, not that it didn't work, but I just heard it 5 minutes ago, so I'll catch up with you. It gets a little crazy on show day, but yeah, it's supposed to be fun. I think that's what people forget, right? It's like, and that's why I kind of laugh right now that I'm not as actively involved in the weekend stuff as I have been, other than like watching, to where it's like I wake up usually on Sunday morning. It's like I get up on Sunday morning, go have, a cup of coffee, or if I'm on the road, get ready to go to work or whatever. And it's like, let me go ahead and open up the Facebook and see what I missed.
You can always tell. You can tell what the controversy was for sure. Whether it's in your neck of the woods, there's many different spectacles as we're around around the country. We get to see it all from all four corners, man.
It's like, it's just, I mean, like Tristan McKee, for example, right now, with late model stocks. I mean, you had all of that going on, and it's like, I mean, this guy, you got Bobby McCarty talking about this guy. You got Sam Yarbrough. I mean, it's all these veteran guys, and some of the, comments and stuff, to where it's like, geez Louise, man. It's, this is supposed to be fun. It still is fun. It's still a lot of fun. But I think the funny thing is now it's fun in that
it's fun until it's not.
yeah, that's the whole thing. And I think that's honestly why I think that you see a lot of people that whether it be from the driver's seat or in the in the fan, in the bleachers or whatever, to where it's like they kind of like, I don't really want to be a part of it right now, because it's like there's just so much, right? It's like, if I want to watch a soap opera, I'll turn on As the World Turns or General Hospital or Days of Our Lives or Guiding Light or whatever the hell's on these days. But it's like every weekend it's a soap opera. God, it's funny. It's funny to watch. It's funny to watch.
It sometimes there's too much drama, and it just doesn't become any fun.
Yes, and that's not good for the sport sometimes. And no, Tim, we're not calling you out. I mean, it's I'm just saying that whole scenario. I mean, just that kind of scenario. And I mean, I'm not going to say. I mean, Tim's a great friend of ours, and the track. I mean, Cotton Bowl. Those are great friends of ours. I mean, it's not our place to decide whatever. I mean, the call was made, and it is what it is. I mean, we can say what we think. I've watched it a couple of different times, and honestly, Bobby, like when I was texting you the other day honestly, my thoughts on the whole scenario had nothing to, well, it did have to do with what was on the track, but what I was texting you about didn't have anything to do with anything on the track. It was the reciprocal stuff. So
yeah.
And Tim, that's not you. So don't worry. Yeah. And that's right. It does kind of suck the fun out of racing. And that's why people get a little burned out, I think, with it. But you know what? We still keep coming back. I mean, how many times have we all quit? You quit until the next week.
And you quit, and then you're like, I'm never coming back here. And then next thing you know, you're back.
Yeah. It's like,
screw this place. I'm never coming back. And then you're there for the next race.
Yeah. I remember it's like, we got all pissed off and quit Thunder Hill. We ain't coming back. Never coming back. Now we went to San Antonio the next week and went over there, And
then the same shit happened over there.
Yeah, I got over there, got all pissed off. Screw this place. This racing sucks. Went right back to Kyle. So it's you know how it goes, man. It's all in good fun. I tell you what doesn't suck is on-demand shirts, because they are the official apparel provider of the Revved Up Sports Show, of Bobby, of me, and a bunch of you that are watching and that are going to watch. And the thing is, I mean, we're wearing the fancy polos provided by ODS, and but it's not just polos. It's t-shirts, it's caps, it's all that merchandise right there that they can take care of for you. Be sure and check them out on the Facebook page, On Demand Shirts. And Bobby, they right now that we're in big race season, you're really seeing them. They're everywhere right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're on top of everything at this point.
Yeah, I got a big show. Most of your big show shirts are going to be all part of On Demand Shirts here lately. I know that they will be promoting the South Texas IMC Modified Show, the Big Mod Show, coming up as part of Oktoberfest, as James Cole broke the news on the show. $2,500 to win, $250 to start, which is pretty decent pay for a big time modified race. So especially in these parts.
Especially an add-on. Yeah, because it was one of those things, it wasn't on the original schedule, and for them to add that on, pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. So looking forward to that as well. We'll preview that for you here in the next couple of weeks as Oktoberfest and plenty of other big shows right around the corner. So let's dive in. Talking about our living the dream series right here. And man, I knew this dude when he was a kiddo, and now he has ascended himself into greatness. And I'm still over here doing this crap. Let's welcome into the program. It is our man Chase Havley. Chase, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, you got me, Rodney?
I got you, buddy. Loud and clear, like you're right next door.
Good deal.
Absolutely. How you doing, brother?
Oh, pretty good. I kind of freaked out. I started getting on, and my laptop took a tumble this morning, and I went to turn on your show, and I couldn't hear anything. So I'm having to use my phone. So hopefully it looks all right. I'm at the shop still, but
you're totally good.
Had some technical difficulties, but I think I'm good now.
It's all good. It's all good. So let's talk about it. You're at the shop. I see you've got the shirt on. Talk about what you're doing right now, man, with Trackhouse Racing.
So right now I'm a race engineer for the 99 car of Daniel Suarez. I've been on Daniel's team since 2023. So this is my first full-time year on the road being a race engineer, traveling, going to the racetrack. So that's what I'm doing now. Just there's all kinds of stuff I do as a race engineer. We can get more or less into depth in that if you want. That's totally up to you, but it's still a learning process. So that's just kind of what I'm on right now. But there's been some ups and downs this year, but you know, we certainly have potential. So it's just part of it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So Chase, it's 8:14 in Concord. What are you still doing at the shop, man? Do they make y'all work, 18, 19-hour days now?
No, it's typically it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. Typically though, I wouldn't be here this late. But Wednesdays are typically finalizing loading days. Obviously, we're racing in Charlotte this weekend, so there's not much of a travel to get the cars down there. But just with it still being on schedule, finishing late, I had some errands to run. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make the 45-minute drive home to talk to you guys. So I just camped out at the shop for a little bit and got some dinner and just hanging out. And I have internet here, so that works out.
There you go. All right. So kind of, if it's okay with you, Chase, what we'll do, we'll kind of go backwards into now, if that works for you. So for our new folks that may not be familiar with your entire career, let's talk about how it all started. I mean, what was always so cool about you is it was always you and your dad, and that's the way I was raised. Me and my dad going to the races. Kind of talk about that part, how it all started for you way back.
Yeah. So as a kid, when I was, probably earlier than 5, even I was big in NASCAR. Wanted to be in racing. I didn't know how, but I wanted to be in it. And just kind of through my dad, we started racing go-karts. Don't really know how we got started, but it was obviously something I wanted to do. I wasn't really into the rodeo stuff, being from Texas like he was. So we started racing go-karts shortly after my first time out to Charlotte to check out all the race shops. So I started racing karts when I was about 7 years old. Raced karts and kind of came up through mini sprints and had a lot of success, especially in karts. And then from there on, just had a lot of success, had a lot of fun with my dad. We traveled a lot. And with that success, we just kept kind of climbing the ranks. We moved up into, I got my first legend car at 11 or 12 years old. So I was pretty young. I think at the time you had to be 14, but I could be wrong on that, but I was pretty young. Got into a legend car racing at Texas Motor Speedway, and then kind of started doing it back home and in Lubbock at the time, and then down south where I met you guys in San Antonio, in that area. And then about the time that I think you kind of mentioned racing at Kyle before, it shut down, so there wasn't really any asphalt racing. Same time Houston kind of shut down. I had started racing a truck at that time, like a pro truck, whatever you might call it, for 1 year, and then everything closed down. So then, I see it right there on the screen. So I did that for 1 year, which was maybe 9 or 10 races. So just kind of started to get the hang of it when everything was done. So the next best thing was to go race dirt. We bought a sport mod, started running a sport mod. Again, another year of a learning curve. And then by the second year, I started figuring it out. At the same time, I was starting my freshman year in college at Texas State, just so I could stay home for one more year and keep racing and just kind of do my basics. And then, but beyond that point, by the time I was 17, I'd pretty much determined I was going to come out to Charlotte and get my engineering degree out here at UNC Charlotte. So I moved out here in 2021, started school at UNC Charlotte. I also got a dirt weight model at the time, but there was a lot going on between school and working part-time and all that. It was very difficult to race, not a whole lot of time. But I probably ran 6 or 7 races in that dirt weight model. And then after that, I started getting my feet into NASCAR a little bit. I started working for GMS Racing, which is gone at this point, but kind of still there with legacy. Got a job there, and then I've kind of just climbed into the engineering roles from that point. So a lot's happened in a short amount of time. It's doing this, it's not always the easiest thing to kind of summarize, but I feel like that's a pretty good summary of where I started in racing, and then where it kind of led up to. But just a lot's happened. We raced a lot of different cars, raced a lot of different places, and just a lot's happened all at the same time. It feels like,
Mm-hmm.
So Chase, the one thing I know, because I spent 3 days, actually I guess 4 or 5 days in Charlotte. Went to Rockingham for the Easter races, and then went around to a couple of different shows, or a couple of different shops. And that my mic, Rodney?
I don't know what that is. It's a little bit of feedback. Is that you getting feedback on your end, Chase? I don't know.
I don't hear anything odd.
Okay. Yeah, it's not that bad. But
okay,
we can hear you, Bobby.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's so different in Charlotte. Like, we talked to the people from Texas that moved to Charlotte, and it's a whole nother world when it comes to racing, because it leads newscasts, and you've got Dell Jr. signs up at every Food Lion and every grocery store and all that. What was that first interaction with you when you're like, oh man, I am in the heart of NASCAR country? Do you remember when it first kind of set in when you were out there?
I don't remember the exact interaction, but I remember trying to find a race car, and I think it might have been when I was going to college, and I think it's kind of different for me because I was going to school with a lot of mechanical engineers, but also I was in a motorsports concentration, so I was around people that should have some know of racing. But there was an interaction I had here where I mentioned to someone random that I raced, and it's like they knew about it. But in Texas, it wasn't like that. It was, Texas was kind of like Talladega Nights. Well, no, not really. It's not that. That was my experience, especially growing up in Texas, going to high school in Texas. Like, nobody really knew about that with the people I was around outside of racing. But here, it's just, like you said, it's kind of more in the culture here, and it's not such an unknown thing. There's plenty of tracks here. I think it's just more common, so it's not as much of an unknown thing. It's just in the culture. So that exact interaction, I don't remember, but I do remember in my head, I was like, oh, they don't think of racing as Talladega Nights. Like, they're aware, they know somebody, their neighbor has a race car. They're big into cars here. People know about it. They go to the races. I think, it might have been my first neighbor, an older retired guy, but oh man, he would talk my ear off because he loved racing. But I just never really had that in Texas outside of, my racing family I had there. I didn't know anybody that really knew anything about it. So stuff like that, it's just definitely different, but I definitely had that experience, probably trying to move my couch in, and my neighbor at the time was coming over and introducing himself. So it might have been super early.
Yeah, that's one of the few markets there where, like, the Carolina Panthers are secondary to NASCAR because it's NASCAR is so big there. I do want to ask you, I mean, obviously the series that we competed together with the dwarf cars, because for you, I mean, you were, so young. I mean, very young. And you had driven for a long time, but you were very young against a bunch of old dudes. I mean, all us old dudes. Kind of talk about that, because you I would have to think that because you were so good at that, how did that help your skills in those dwarf cars racing on paper, like at Corpus, just a beat up racetrack? I mean, then we'd go over to dirt, and I mean, you were from the drop of the hammer. You were just so good in those cars.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always attributed it, I had a lot of success in those. And I think, of everything I've raced between from karts to legends, mini sprints, dirt, modifieds and dirt late models, like that's by far the most difficult car I ever drove. But I think that I adapted well to it because I had driven a lot of different things. I had driven different karts. I had gotten into mini sprints, which I think was a big part of it. But I just never really got used to anything. And I just think that made me adaptable. And as well as I do, they're very hard to drive, a lot of power for how small they are, wheelbase, everything else. Like, they're a handful. And I just think for how many different things I race, I truly do think that helped my success. And maybe just not knowing any better, like it's just, you just adapted, and we didn't know everything. It was definitely learning along the way, but I think with us not having a racing background, everything was about adapting. Everything might not have been perfect. It wasn't our fault. We just didn't know any better. So I had to be adaptable. And I think for a car like that, that's what you needed. And I think that definitely helped me. And then after I got out of it, I probably should have had even more success just because everything else was so easy to drive, but you couldn't. But then that's when, kind of a little finesse comes into racing. You can't charge the corner that hard because your other cars are not going to have the acceleration that thing had. It's so light, but it had a lot of power. You could really overcome mistakes if you overcharged the corner, but even if you didn't overcharge it, you had to drive it hard because it had so much power coming off, like it didn't matter. I remember getting in a truck. That was the biggest thing. It's like, okay, this is easy to drive. I'm not spitting this thing out, but I can't drive it in the corner and just miss the corner. Like, it's not going to stick. And if it doesn't stick, I'm not going to be able to overcome that. So it's just night and day different between how those raced and then everything I raced after that. So it's a double-edged sword. It was something to definitely learn in and build skill on, but at the same time, you got to be careful because it's just so different than everything else, in my opinion.
So Chase, tell me about Trackhouse. Obviously, when I went to all the different race shops, there's a total different vibe at Trackhouse because when I walked in, you had the Harry Gant Oldsmobile on one side, you had the bikes in the middle, and then you had Justin's Trans Am car there on the right side, that kick-ass Trans Am car. And it seemed completely different. I can't put my finger on what the difference in the vibe of that building was, but it felt different. Have you noticed that going from like a GMS over to Trackhouse? I mean, is it a different feel and vibe over there?
It's hard. It's harder for me to say because I am green. This is my I've been here for 3 years. Before that, I was at GMS for a year and a half. GMS was a great place, but I had always heard the same thing. Culture was a big thing. Trackhouse culture still is a big thing, a priority at Trackhouse. Not saying other places don't, because I haven't been there. I can only go by word of mouth for other race teams. But there's definitely a culture here that's been built in all different departments here, and I just think that it's a priority, and I think that people embrace that. Just as humans, you want to be in a good work environment. You want to have fun. We're talking about when you started, like, this is a serious job for all of us, and we put a lot of work into it. But it's still racing, and I think just embracing a positive culture and trying to build something different just helps that from the get-go, from when they started to when I got here to even now. I just think that having culture as a priority just helps everything else along the way. You know what I mean? So it's different, but I also have been to a lot of different teams. This has really been my team from the start. I love it here, so it's kind of the usual for me. And I think if I ever God forbid, was at a different team, don't want to do that. But if I was, I think it would be easier to say what the difference is. But for me, I go off what people say, and I like it here. So it's hard for me to say, it's not different.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, it's very modern, I think is what Trackhouse seems like to me. I know a couple of different times there at COTA, I've kind of stood behind the Trackhouse box and just kind of watch everything. And it's, the way NASCAR has evolved and some folks are happy with change, others aren't, but it just seems like Trackhouse to me is a kind of the new way. Let's talk about the 99 team. So obviously some changes coming up next season there behind the driver's seat. But your current driver, when it comes to Daniel Suarez, that's a guy that everything that I see in that guy, he's just a very good dude. I think what you see him, the image on television, that's the guy that you get, even in times of not the best times, like even now without having a ride for certain. He's very positive about things. Kind of talk about the team and him. It seems like a pretty good vibe going on there.
I would say that, optimism and positivity is his strongest and best trait. Daniel is absolutely a great guy. From when I got here, from when I met him, like he's always been very inviting, but it's not just with me, it's with everybody. He wants everyone on the team to be involved. If we're going out to a team dinner, when we're traveling, I remember from the start, like he made it a priority. He wanted everybody to be there. He was very big on the team and kind of being close knit. Definitely a great guy. And he's a talented race car driver. He belongs in the Cup Series. It hasn't worked out here, but he's had success here too. But I think, as well as I do, it's just kind of the name of the game. And but working with him has been great. Great guy, stand-up guy. But everything you spoke to is absolutely how he is behind closed doors. What you see on TV is what you get. He's very, what you see is what you get. Like, that's just how he is. I think maybe that's how he was raised from his background. I wish the best for him. Loved working with him. But it's just part of it,
So Chase, you mentioned being on the road. When you guys go on the road, is it like you pop in for practice on Saturday morning and then leave on the jet, Sunday afternoon? Do you get a chance to kind of sightsee it all, or is it all like literally just a business trip when you guys show up at the racetrack?
It depends on where you're going. It just the timing of things. The sport's changed and how we get 25 minutes of practice. You qualify. That's it. Like, no changes. You don't go back through tech. Like, you go through tech once. That's it. You can do your limited adjustments on Sunday. So having that tight of a schedule for a lot of races is very much Saturday, Sunday is you're going to the track first thing in the morning. You start tech at 8 o'clock. You go through tech for 5.5 hours. You have practice. You have qualifying. You have debriefs. You have time to leave the track, go get cleaned up, get something quick for dinner, go back to the hotel room, and engineers, crew chiefs go back to the hotel room, look at data, look at options for your limited adjustments for Sunday. It's those weekends are very bang bang business. There's not time, right? Some of the exceptions are, if it is so early of a day on Saturday, such a long day on Saturday, they'll fly us out on Friday. You don't go to the racetrack. If they fly out there, it's probably the best mix of just you don't have to get up early, but you don't lose all your Friday. You get there, you can go out to dinner with your team, you can unwind, and then when you wake up on Saturday, you're fresh. It's a way better weekend, in my opinion, if that's how the format's always going to be. But I would say more often than not, it's business, and there's not time for most of us to do anything outside of dinner,
Yeah. So Chase, you said the key word when we were talking about your responsibilities over Trackhouse, engineer. It's a different day and time to where there still are mechanics, there's car chiefs, all of that, but there are a lot of engineers. Let's kind of talk just briefly about this car. About the car of the new car, the next gen car. A lot of folks maybe not the fan of it, but Bobby and I have kind of come to the conclusion where this car is just entirely too smart. This is a car that it's built to perform, and it performs extremely well. It does everything that it's supposed to do. It's not the typical stock car that doesn't want to be turning left all the time. Kind of talk about that and like just the nuances of this thing. People say you can't adjust anything, you can't do this, you can't do that, but it's that's what it's designed to do. That's the design of this next gen car.
Yeah, I mean, my first year with this car was with everybody else on very limited for me. But in 2022, I was at Legacy and nobody knew anything. Like nobody knew what to do. So 2022, that's why you had so many different winners. That's why so many teams, Trackhouse included. Trackhouse had, Trackhouse has success now, but Trackhouse had wild success in 2022 just because they figured it out
Right
before everybody else or with the top teams. Like that's what set them apart. But in 2022, nobody really knew. And then there's just been so little changes since then. Everybody's just slowly gotten better and better and better and better. And you kind of there's millions of combinations, right, for how you could configure this car. But with the amount of teams there are, with the amount of tests, practice, options there's been, it's just people have experienced package A enough that it's not a question anymore. It didn't work. It didn't work for that driver. It doesn't work on paper and sim. It doesn't look as good. You're not going to look at it again because it doesn't make any sense to do it. So a lot of teams, I can't speak for all the teams, but I'd assume that's the biggest part of it. The drivers have kind of figured it out. So the margins have gotten tighter with the drivers. Some have picked it up faster or slower, but now everybody's kind of getting closer to the same window, and what you got is kind of what you got as a driver. And then the teams are in the same way. The success and the performance is very much from the details and the small things. And honestly, a lot of the things that are so detailed, like, aren't in my hands because I tell them how to put it together, but it's just being detailed and doing things the right way, all the small things the right way, and being as precise as possible that sets you apart. I mean, and I think that's where we're at in this car. Everyone's figured out the big things. Now it's just the little tweaks. Like your driver might want a little tweak, but that's not going to make or break. It's not going to make or break you. You know what I mean? So it might just be your weekend because you needed that little tweak. But maybe not. Maybe it's not enough. But I think that's the box that everyone finds themselves in, and it's very hard to find. It's very hard to find problems. That's for sure.
I bet.
Yeah.
So Chase, what do y'all get to change? Everything's a lot of simulation based that you get to try at the shop. I mean, you said limited 25-minute practice. I mean, do you guys get to really change anything, or is it you have to be 120% prepared with a game plan when you leave the shop now?
Pretty much when we leave the shop, we're committed on whatever. Typically, that's going to be geometry, springs, bars. Obviously, the body and the floor is set to a certain spec. Like you're kind of locked in there because you could get to the racetrack and wholesale it. But again, we're talking about the small things, right? And what we can do at the shop, you can be so much more detailed, so much more precise. Most people probably don't want to bail because you've spent all week getting it dialed in to what you think is going to work. Like you're not going to punt on Saturday morning, right? So that we can change anything we want at the shop, but in terms of all those things I just said, geometry, springs, etc. But once you're there, you're kind of committed just because you're just not going to get it back in theory to where you had it at the shop. It might not be as detailed as it was at the shop. That's the biggest part of it.
So it's not like we used to do with the dwarf cars, laying out in the gravel, changing shit all the time.
The way we worked, even with my dad, we didn't. But that's the way we worked. Is probably how most of short track racing works. But what I do now, I don't know if I could go back and do it. I never have time. I never have open weekends. But like the level of money and precision and everything that goes into these cars, it's like if I went back to that, it's a completely different world. So yes, it's definitely the tape measures are mostly gone. And that's all we had, right? So it's a different world. It blew my mind. Now I've just gotten used to it. But now that I'm used to it, I'm like, I don't really want to go back to using toe boards and tape measures, because we have a $100,000 arm that can tell me in 3 seconds, right?
Don't have to drive under the little thing anymore to check the height. Yeah, no, it's a hell of a lot smart. So I do want to ask you, sorry, Bobby, because I'll forget, you know how I get. Do you have any time to get out to short tracks out there? Do you go check out any of the late model stocks or pro late models or legends or anything out your way?
Man, I'd like to, but you know, like I've kind of said with my schedule, it's tough. There's not really any time. You know, if we fly out on a Saturday, I could go to somewhere that's racing on a Friday. In fact, like my buddy, he's racing his sprint car Friday night at Carolina Speedway. Cool track. Love to go. It's also my one day that I can spend with my wife. So it's like, I'm kind of tired. Like I kind of just want to hang out with her and go get dinner and not, because if I'm there, I'm going to help them. Like I love it, but it's definitely a lot. And you know, we have quite the season. It's just like, man, honestly, even if I had the day, I don't know if I would. I love it. It's just to stay sharp. I think for me, at least, I do it so much. I just don't really want to anymore. It's just it's a job now, so it's I take the day when I can. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the one thing we talk about, doing radio full time, and it's like, well, then it becomes a job, and then it becomes a different aspect from the hobby and the fun that you look into it. I want to ask about Netflix, dude, because that was like, I text Rodney when I was watching. I was like, hey, is that the same Chase that used to race at Kyle in Houston with you? And he's like, yeah. So how does that go? Do you have to sign like an NDA and all that good stuff, or
no?
Did they follow you around the shop? How did that work?
They didn't give me any money for that. I did it for free. So, but no, that was just that was their deal. I was just part of it. It's just I think it's great for the sport. I think it's really cool. Honestly, I don't think they showed even a fraction of what we do. You know, they showed what the teams allowed them to see. They focused on the drivers, but it's very, it's a percentage of what does go on. Very cool. It's really cool to like see your name on Netflix and have people tag you on Facebook like, oh, I saw you on Netflix. I was like, oh, that is cool. But just kind of a random thing, nothing planned. That I think when I made my little appearance, it was at the simulator, and I knew they were there, and I had to put my game face on and just work. But yeah, cool deal. But yeah, just kind of an extra thing. I don't know if they're doing it this year. Maybe they have. Maybe they don't like us. I don't know. But haven't seen them this year.
Yeah. So last one for me, Chase. And again, thanks for taking the time, man. I know that the schedules are crazy. So
thanks for having me on for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So I do want to. So let's talk about your dad. So obviously, like I said, you guys, a fixture there with us with DCRST, and then prior to that, we've kind of gone through all of that. But kind of now with him, I knew about the rodeo passion.
Yeah.
And now with my regular job, I end up at rodeos a lot and so forth. But now he is hell. There's a dwarf car part of his act.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got. I think he's got. You remember Dwayne Groff? He has his old.
Got the 41 car.
Yeah, the 41 car. Yeah, he does his clown acts with that. He puts. I don't know if he puts tannerite or I don't know what he puts in the back of it, but he blows it up every weekend and does donuts, and people go nuts for it. I've seen it once or twice. Cool deal. But yeah, he probably travels just as much as I do now. I think he does 20 or 30 weekends a year doing that. He's retired, but he goes and does that on the weekends every weekend. So he definitely stays probably just as busy as I do on the weekends.
That's awesome.
Yeah. See, Rodney ended with a good one, right? But I was going to ask, as an SVG guy, obviously Vegas says he's the favorite to win at the Roval. How much information do you share back and forth between the engineers over there versus the 99 car? Do you guys get to share a lot in-house, or is it two separate drivers to do the same thing?
At least with our team, it's very between all three teams here. Just the engineering department in general is very connected. Really trying to be efficient because, this car each car is different, but for the most part, the trends that you see on one car, they carry over to the next. So there's a lot of collaboration. But at the same time, there's there's personalization because, you know, we all work together in one aspect of it, but on the other aspect of it, you still have your driver who prefers different things. Road courses in particular, and even he's getting his own style on ovals. Like Shane just likes different things than what Ross and especially Daniel like, different driving styles. Shane on the road courses, he's made a lot of different things work. So they've kind of figured out what he likes, but there's definitely a lot of collaboration between the teams. There's no withholding of information. But to a certain extent, at the same time, you have to, for your team, you have to make the decision that you think is best for your guy, for what he's going to like. But definitely a lot of working together because the cars are so similar. You can do a lot of the same studies on, excuse me, one car, and those trends will apply to the other cars. It's just whether or not you decide to do it, right? That's kind of how we operate. I think that's how some other teams operate, and some other teams, they might be completely independent and just competing against each other. There's different ways to make it work, but that's at least how we work.
Mm-hmm. So for you, I did have one more popped up here. So right quick. So you guys, I mean, we're into the playoffs, we're into the next round and so forth. When the 99 car can get to victory lane, I mean, because I know the 99 team will continue. You'll be with the 99 team, but if this version of the 99 team can get to victory lane in 2025 before the end of the year, how cool is that going to be for you guys?
Man, that's gonna be awesome. We've had a tough year. Daniel's had a tough year. We've really had some bad luck too. We've just had a lot of bad luck. I hate saying that. Like, you know, I think you create your own luck. I think you put yourself in the position to avoid that. But man, some of these things are just like, it's us, you know? So I think everybody's feeling it. I think Daniel especially is feeling it. But this team, in my opinion, in my short experience at the cup level, I think we're capable. I think we've shown sparks of it. The performance is there. We just have to execute and do it on a consistent basis. I would say we've shown the sparks. We just have to be consistent with it. But I think the Roval is a great opportunity. I don't think Daniel has yet to have or to not have some type of mechanical failure or get wrecked at the Roval. But he's had speed, and that's since 2022. That's where he got knocked out of the playoffs. So definitely capable this weekend. Las Vegas is another one. I finished second in the spring. Last fall, we finished third, I believe. A lot of confidence going there. A lot of good baselines to go off of. A lot of confidence there. And then Talladega could go anyway. Martinsville is a short track, so anybody could probably win that race. And then Phoenix is another one on the schedule that's definitely in the back of our minds because we've had good success there with this 99 team. So fully capable, and I want it for everybody. Everybody wants it. It's not for a lack of effort. It's just we got to put the pieces together.
Yes, sir. And as we're talking here, take a look right there.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There it is.
Yeah, whenever I went, like they went nuts for it.
That's crazy.
I just laugh because I'm like, man, I remember those were the cars that we worked all week on, and he's putting tannerite in the back and blowing out the back hatch, and it's comical for sure.
Oh, I know. It was always we'd always shine him up and all. He's out there blowing up. Jeff, if you need another one, yeah, Jeff, if you need another one, go get the 4-car. Somebody needs to do something with it. So anyway, sorry about.
Well, you know what though? See, we have another connection here because he's a 49er. And they play in the same conference as UTSA, so maybe I'll come see you for lunch one day, because UTSA plays out there in Charlotte. So I may come to that game, say hello to my family. We'll try to get lunch or something, see how that football game turns out. So hell of a school up there they got at UNC Charlotte. So it's an underrated school, but it's they got a lot of cool engineering and motorsports programs there. But maybe I'll see you come at the end of November. So
yeah, sounds good. Yeah, great school. Be cool to catch up and talk to y'all. So
yep, absolutely. Chase, you make me proud, dude. I'll tell you. And like Rachel Plant said, oh, how they grow up. I'll tell you. Well done, my man. Good luck this weekend, the rest of the way, and looking forward to following along. Anytime you want to chop it up, dude, just holler.
All right. Well, thank you all for having me on. I appreciate it.
You bet, man. Take care.
All right.
I mean, good luck.
You
All
bet.
right, thanks. Bye.
You bet. There he goes. Chase Havley. How about that? like I said, this guy, engineering school, doing all these amazing things, and Bobby, here we are, still doing RUSS. But that's actually cool though, because we've done this long enough to where the ties are there. That those are the people that we've done this so long. I mean, and he's
done it a long time, but it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that generation just continue to blossom, right? It's like, I don't think that we have a big history of racing, and there's been certain guys that are able to get out of the state and do lots of cool things in NASCAR. JC's another one that has an opportunity to go out and work for Tricon and some of the other places that he's worked at. But that opportunity, to and it's a big leap to go from Amarillo, Texas, all the way over to Charlotte, North Carolina, to change schools. I mean, he went from one party school at Texas State to UNC Charlotte. So that's a big challenge and a big change there. So, those life-altering decisions. Jacqueline's another one. Left DFW to head to the Carolinas to follow that NASCAR dream. So it's kind of like you and I both kind of like, damn, we should have done that. And now it's kind of too late for us, but
well, and I think that's where, like with these people that you're talking about, and I mean, great folks, all of them, and there are a lot more. I mean, and there were, it was different back in our time, like Corey Lovell, for example. You remember him? He was here for a long time. Then he made that move and kind of went off, to kind of get into that area. And that's really, I think when it comes to pavement racing, that's where you have to be. I mean, it's been, there's been opportunities along the way here with race announcing and different stuff, to where it's like there's opportunities that may have come up, and but it's in North Carolina, it's in wherever, and it's like I had kids and a wife and all that. You can't do that. I mean, but that's where with these youngsters now, to where they take that opportunity. I think one of the most powerful things that he said right there is that he knew all along that he was going to get over there and get that degree there. And he didn't say how long, but I don't think that it was very long after he got out of school with that degree that boom, he's at work. And it's just that region, and the other part of it is, I know that we can say whatever we want to say about NASCAR, and people want to talk shit about it and this, that, and the other. It is the it is the top tier that you can work in this genre in North America. I mean, it really is. Say what you want to say about it.
It's the top dog in North American motorsports for sure.
Absolutely.
IndyCar is there. They got a lot of technology and a lot of stuff, but I mean, it's the influx of engineering over the course of the last 15 years in NASCAR. You're losing a lot of old time fans because it's too smart and all that. Yeah, no shit. It's called evolution.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's the number one form of motorsports in North America, because it's evolved into that. They still call them stock cars, but there ain't nothing stock about a stock car other than the blue oval sticker that's on the front of that Mustang.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. When you get to that level, I mean, you really have reached, you've reached the top of the mountain. And I mean, it's something where, I mean, I think that's where, for kiddos these days, I mean, look at Bailey. I mean, Bailey's another one, and Caden, were those guys, and Chase is the same way. I mean, because Chase, like he was talking about, I mean, the dude that they worked on their stuff. I mean, all the time. I mean, it's a very hard road right there, to where, we talk about some of the drivers to where they end up doing, we talk about, the parents' checks and all this, that, and the other. But when you get to the engineers, when you get to the mechanics and a lot of the drivers, to where it's like, they've had to work their way through this. I mean, Logan Bearden, is another one. I mean, that dude, it's like, he's got a regular job, and oh, by the way, he gets to drive from time to time. So it's pretty cool, man. We've got a lot of them from around here, and that's all right, man. That is all right.
Yeah, lots of fun seeing them do it. We've been doing this a long time. Like, I was talking to somebody at Cotton Bowl there on Saturday during one of the delays to fix the fence. I said, it's weird. I said, knowing that actually it was Danielle, because it's Colton's mom that was on Colton Birmingham was on here a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird to know that their oldest child is 27 now. And then to know that, those kids were, they remember us when they were kids racing, and now we're the voice of a second generation of racers. So it's kind of weird to know we've been doing it this damn long. So
yeah, that was. I had a couple of people that reached out to me after the show last week. When the Davis girls were on here, and they were like, "That's Danny and Tammy's kids." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the girls," and they're like, "My God, they've grown. I haven't seen them in 15 years." I'm like, "Well, that's what happens."
Yeah,
they grow, and then you get to a certain age and you shrink, so yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, and they get older like that, and you and I, we still look so damn good. How
right.
does this happen?
It's just good living, I guess.
It's good living, and a whole bunch of Allen Iverson is what that is. God. Speaking of young people, Magic Mike Knott's checking in, watching from the shrine that is the race shop over there. You do a live show there.
One of these days, I'm going to take off early, and I'm going to head down to Universal City and go through that shop. It's got to be like the Dale Jr. shop, where it's like, all the cars in the weeds and all of that, the Dale Jr. graveyard. I imagine you could write a history book with all the Texas Pro Sedan cars that are in there.
Oh man, that would be so cool. I'd love to see a TPS kind of, like what's his name's doing with IROC right now. That'd be pretty cool. Get those TPS cars out. I think I'm gonna take the 4 car over there and leave it at Mike's. Just kind of put it over there, because that's an old school dwarf car right there. So I think that's got a lot of DCRST history to there. That's got Arden Vickery and Butch Avelka's fingerprints all over it before me and my dad put our Mexican prints on it. So yeah, before we cheated it all up in the Mexican way. So that might fit good over there. All right, coming up, let's talk about what we saw this past weekend, what's coming up, because we got a lot of big races coming up. Get into some NASCAR stuff, but first, a word from our friends at On Demand Shirts.
You've probably seen us all over the racing world and doing a lot of racing designs for events and race teams, but we also do a lot of stuff from small boutiques in small cities all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. Your brand deserves to be seen. We print on more than just shirts, hats, jackets, bags, and much, much more. Custom corporate branding starts here.
Absolutely. They will take care of you. It is On Demand Shirts. Be sure and check them out. And somebody else asked about it, so I got to play it one more time, Bobby.
Let's go racing! Saturday night, Corpus Christi Speedway opens its 1990 racing season with more cars, more stars, more thrills, spills, and chills than ever before. South Texas' best drivers battling wheel to wheel and door handle to door handle on the high-banked asphalt in pure stocks, modified stocks, and those high-flying super stocks. The best oval track stock car racing in Texas. Gates open at 6, time trials at 7, races at 8. CC Speedway between Agnes and Bear Lane on Plateau Road. Saturday night, Corpus Christi Speedway.
And as we always say, don't go Saturday.
Yeah.
You're going to be disappointed.
The best part about that video is watching everybody scatter down there in turn 1 when those cars came up and hit the wall, because the pits used to be over on that side.
Yeah.
And then they moved them to the other side.
Yeah, they moved them all the time. I remember we went, I think we went up in, 84, 83, 84. We went up there with Jim for a race that Slick drove and just waxed their ass. It was like a 150 lap late model race. Slick won by a damn near a lap. And we went up there for that race and worked with them. And then we went back, I think it was a couple of seasons later, and then the pits were on the other side. And it was like, damn, what's going on here? And then I think when I went in 95, the pits were on the back on the other side again. So it's like, oh man, somebody needs to make a documentary of that place. That would be a good one.
We're coming up on like the 7-year anniversary of Slick being on this show.
It popped up on a Facebook memory.
October 15th, 2018.
Need to get him back on. Need to have now that Slick is a Facebook guy, now that Slick is into social media, we need to get him on here, see what he's learned about Facebook and the world.
Yeah. He don't post much. Karen still does the majority of the posting, but she finally got him to at least get a page.
Yeah.
She was tagging him in everything, all the pictures and the videos and all of that, so he could go back in and watch it. So
yeah.
RUSS replays coming up, of course, of the off season. So be prepared for those. One of us will sit down and start doing some video editing on some of those old audio clips from the archives of the show. So
add some graphics to them and make them all fancy. make them all fancy and stuff like we do now. Valley Star Credit Union 300 started off with a blast, wreck right off the bat. Landon Pemberton, the winner there over Lee Pulliam, the veteran right there. But like I talked about, I mean, the Tristan McKee story is kind of the one that's really starting to, with everything happening there. Tri-County will be this weekend for the Cars Tour with Dale Earnhardt Jr. back behind the wheel again. So just a lot of late model stock moments. I bet Chase Havley could drive the shit out of a late model stock. I bet he would just dog one of those cars with that dwarf car experience that he had, and then the trucks. I love what he was talking about right there, because I was obviously the reverse, where it started out in the stock car to where when I got in the dwarf car, where it took the biggest adjustment that changed everything I did in the dwarf car was I would go into the corner in the dwarf car and I'd sit there and wait for it to kind of settle in and fall into place like the stock car did. And then one time by mistake, I throttled that thing, as soon as I lit out, I throttled that thing and that somebody went right around the turn. And it was like, holy smoke, that was badass. That changed everything. That slip up moment, and that car gained a half a second that day by mistake. But I bet that dude could drive the hell out of a late model stock.
Yeah, our buddy Jared Fryer finished third
place
in the 300. So
third place, yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, man, the Friars.
He was right there too, because if those two guys took each other out, he'd have won that damn thing.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
But the finish was pretty clean, though. I give it an A. I give it a solid A. They kind of rubbed up a little bit, kind of ran up the track a little bit, but for the most part, I thought the finish was clean. As clean by today's standards, I thought it was perfectly clean, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Our man Danny Davis checking in right there. Hey, message me, dude. I'll let you know. There's not a lot going on with them. They're just sitting in a dark place, just kind of waiting. So anyway, waiting, and I don't have time. So anyway, we'll do something with that car. Events coming up. We can get to that. In a little bit. Let's get over to the NASCAR side. The obviously the big stories. You have the Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, all of that mess right there. Denny Hamlin, obviously catching a lot of the like I messaged you. Things are things are getting a little crazy when people are like siding with Bubba Wallace for something, and people are all up Denny Hamlin's ass, and it's like, damn, Bubba Wallace is the good guy this week. Dang.
I mean, it's crazy. Atchew's detrimental was very interesting this week with Denny Hamlin. I do give Bubba props for having the cojones to flip off his team owner there on pit road when it was all said and done. I thought that took cojones, but I mean, it's a catch-22. We get these guys shit when they just ride around and don't go for it. And then when they go for it, I mean, it's Hamlin himself says Joe Gibbs pays him a lot of money to wins and championships in that 11 car. But then he has said he has a lot, he has a lot of money and resources and stuff tied up in 2311. So I just think that it's very odd. Had the incident with Ty Gibbs not happened the week before, I think that it would have been a completely different avenue for that race coming up, there at Kansas. So.
Yeah, with all of that, I mean, you go back and with everything that happens right there, I mean, it's a no-win for Denny right there, because if he doesn't, race the 23 car, if he doesn't race him hard, it is going to be, the team aspect sucks and all this, that, and the other. I mean, that's what you're going to have right there. But he gets in there and he does. I seriously didn't expect him to do anything different, because like he said, I mean, when it comes to Sunday, he's the driver. Every other day he's the owner, and I mean, the move right there, imagine if he doesn't do that. What are we talking about? Oh, that puss, or whatever you want to call him. The NASCAR
because he let Bubba win, kind of deal.
Right. So I don't I don't fault him, and he's very much at a point right now, it seems like, I mean, he's not going to do anything that's going to satisfy anyone. And I think the other thing that's so with Denny Hamlin is there's that personality that we're talking about that these guys need to have. I mean, You see Chase Elliott wins that race. I mean, and a great move to win. I mean, that was a very aggressive. I mean,
He
I
adored
love
the shit out of Hamlin too.
dude,
He really did.
Dude, I love that. I mean, that's the Chase.
I'm not
Elliott
mad. I'm not mad. I mean, he
No.
adored the shit out of him, and
No.
I'm not mad about it.
And neither was Denny. I mean, Denny he didn't want to go fight. I mean, Denny gets it, but it's like he wins. Ooh, just like the Yankees. So game 3 tomorrow. So you have that happens, or maybe not tomorrow, the next day. So you have that happens, and then Chase Elliott. You want to talk about personality?
That changes the perception of that race. That
Great
race
race.
itself, while that race, the finish was fantastic. Not so much for Zane Smith, riding on the rail and flipping over in the first overtime. That race was not all that great up front because Denny Hamlin was smoking their ass even with no power steering.
Yeah.
But yet you had it. We've said it all the time. Not that Jeff Gluck's polls are the universal, but everybody refers to them, including us, right? But it's like an exciting finish and a calamity finish will get better ratings on a poll like that than a race that's pretty good with a so-so ending, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it helps that Chase Elliott won when, the sport's in a better place when the most popular drivers are winning. But I think that, that skewed the poll some because that race itself, you and I were kind of both half-ass watching it, and we just got ready to watch it at the right time, which ended up being about the last 30 minutes intently.
Yeah.
And that's when all hell broke loose for in a good way. So, I mean, with that race itself, the first, 2.5 hours of that race, there was some good racing there for, third, fourth, fifth on back. But yeah, Hamlin was smoking up that show there for the first 2 segments.
Yeah, and that let's say Hamlin wins that race. Let's say Bubba wins that race, and you still have that entire finish that you had with those two. Let's say it comes down to Denny and Bubba that come down, and Chase doesn't make the move and win that race, or somebody else makes that move and wins that race. It's not getting the amazing accolades that it gets right now.
No way.
Yeah, no, and that's where Kenny Wallace was talking about where NASCAR. NASCAR is good now. And that's where it's the same thing with this points thing, to where it's like with the point system. I mean, I think a lot of this it caught a lot of steam last year because of what Joey Logano did. And I totally get the circumstances and everything with that. But let's say that all of that's reversed. And let's say, I don't know, Chase Elliott, who's the popular drivers? SVG, Blaney. Let's say it's those guys that go on the same path and win that championship the same way that Joey Logano did. Are we still bitching as much about the point system? I don't think so.
If Chase Elliott wins that same way, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly.
Because the masses are happy. Speaking of SVG, how about that first career top 10 on an oval?
I'm telling you.
And then starting a lap down, having to start dead last, do the pass-through penalty, was at least 1, if not 2 laps down, 10 laps into that race, and then somehow, some way manages to get a top 10.
Yeah. You know what I would love to see in the offseason? I would love to see if somehow Shane Van Gisbergen gets the opportunity to go do some super late model racing or something to that effect. I think that's something for Christopher Bell, that the fact that he does that as often as he does at the rate that he does it, I think that's something that really propels him.
It helped William Byron a couple of seasons ago when he was running for Donnie Wilson.
Yeah, that's a thing. I mean, I think if SVG could get some super late model races, like if he went to Pensacola, and even if he doesn't make the race, I mean, so what? If he had the opportunity to do that, I think that would really help him. And I'm telling you, when that dude figures this shit out, everybody that's like, oh, well, he's only in I don't care what point system we have at that point, that dude is going to be a contender because
he's got a little ways to go to catch Ambrose for career top 10s.
Yeah.
But, he has an opportunity to win his 5th race of the year on Sunday as a rookie. When's the last time? I think that's under the radar because his program on the ovals, the performance on the ovals is just not there. When's the last time a rookie in the Cup Series come through and won 4 races, much less the potential to win 5 races? I don't care if they're road course or not. He's kicked the best stock car racers in the world's ass 4 times this year.
Yeah, he has. I mean, it's never happened. I mean, as far as I know. I mean, maybe it did, way back in the 60s. I don't know. But, and especially in this modern era. And the other part of it is because I think a lot of what you get with that is, well, he's a road course ace, the road course ringer, whatever. These NASCAR Cup drivers that we have now, and this car, for crying out loud, we just had this conversation. These are not David Pearson, and I'm not slighting these people. These are not David Pearson, Cale Yarborough, all these guys that would show up at the road course and just run it because it was on the schedule. These guys can drive on a road course. These are road course racers. And the sim thing has changed everything. And the fact that he's come out there and beat these dudes at their own craft. I don't care what car it is. He beats them in the Busch car. So, I mean, you can't say, well, it's because of the car. Don't blame the car for that one.
No, because it's the way that this whole thing's put together.
Yeah.
Cars are as even as they've ever been. That's why they're called universal sorts parts.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
I know the point system is the thing that's and of course now the 36 race, 38, 37, whatever it's going to be, is gaining steam again as to maybe something that's going to happen. I think the bigger thing is the TV ratings thing, to where it's like, and it's funny that this happens because now the NFL, where NASCAR wants to say the NFL, and that does have something to do with it. Football is the ultimate. I guess you want to say killer for TV ratings for everybody else. I mean, but the whole thing is like Denny again. This is as much as people don't want to hear Denny talk. Denny says shit that makes sense. Here's Denny talking on his actions detrimental, talking about NASCAR trying to get a share of that Sunday package that for people that aren't checking out NFL.
Care about that. We used to be strong enough on our own to really not care. But the world has changed, and again, it all comes down to shares. It's going to be hard to get any bigger than what you are unless you start taking shares. And if you're asking to take shares from football,
he ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Golf can do it. Golf kind of puts a little bit. I mean, this past weekend with the Ryder Cup, and you had a lot that was happening there. A big PGA event, will do that. But racing is just, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, it's the NFL. This is where I'll say that I think that the ratings for the Xfinity series on the CW have stayed pretty flat throughout college football. So again, that comes back to the whole conversation about the competition in the car.
Well, I mean, I think also network TV.
Yeah.
You know where every single Xfinity race is going to be. And yet, other than a few stuff I've seen on NASCAR on NBC, on Facebook, and a few other places, I had no idea the Rover was on USA.
Yeah.
I listened to Sirius XM, and every 10th commercial, at least twice an hour, says, this week, the NASCAR Cup Series brought to you by Xfinity. It's going to be at the Charlotte Roval.
Yeah. DD asking here about Larson. Yeah. It just kind of seems like to me for them, I mean, since the double, I mean, I know that it seems like they kind of got their stuff working in a better direction a little bit later in the season, but it's just, I mean, Hendrick in general
has been off the pace a little bit.
Yeah. And I know Chase won this race this past weekend, but I mean, it's not one like you said. Toyota was a class of the field. I mean, it was just a great move by Chase to get that
4 tires and loss of momentum.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like the 24. I mean, it's kind of there, and obviously Chase with the win. But yeah, the 5 and then the 48. I mean, the 48's that isolated car once again. Remember, we always talked about that one Hendrick car that is like kind of, hey, cousin. It's like the 5th cousin out there. You don't really claim that guy unless you really need him. That's kind of what the 48 feels like right now.
Tough break for our buddy Blake.
Yeah, that sucks because
I don't want him to be the scapegoat on that deal.
I know, and that's a lot of times that's what happens. So hopefully that's not the case.
Speaking of scapegoat, did you see what they did with Rowdy's crew chief today?
Yeah. Yeah.
That wasn't a shock. That really wasn't a surprise.
And they need
In
to.
fact, actually, the only surprise is the fact that he's still with RCR.
Yeah. And I really, man, the RCR, I mean, I really think I totally get, I get the, dedication in house and so forth and so on. But man, they have got to figure something out because it's just, I mean, it's just not there for them. And it really sucks. Like Kyle Busch or not, like we talked about last week, dude. It's like to see that dude mired back right there and just struggling like that. I mean, it would be one thing if it's like, okay, he's not capable of winning. He doesn't possess the skills to be a top flight cup driver anymore. That's one thing. But can you imagine that dude in like in a Gibbs car or Trackhouse car or
2311 car? You keep seeing that. You kept seeing that pop up this weekend, and I don't know where that came from.
That's popping.
What's he gonna do? Replace the 35 car?
I'm curious to see, depending on what happens with the lawsuit. I keep hearing the whole thing with Reddick, and it seems like it's Reddick more than anybody else. So where it's like, okay, part of the contract is they have to be on a charter team. If 2311 is not a chartered team,
I don't see how they're going to stay in business without it being a chartered team.
Yeah. But I mean, I know that Kyle Busch is locked in with that bunch right now. I mean, he's got a new contract, but contracts are made to be broken. They're only as fresh as the ink on the paper. So, and the other thing that I've seen kind of floating around on a lot of these random sites, I mean, you never know what you can read. I mean, I saw it a couple of times this week, is that maybe Pop would step away. That he would, and truly, I think if he did, I think that maybe that would breathe some new air into RCR. I mean, I think
same thing I said last week.
Yeah,
the new air will be the breeze from the Brinks truck that Stellantis is going to back up at the front door at RCR here in the middle part of 2026.
Mm-hmm. And I'm here to tell you, I joke around and I talk a lot of shit about this guy, but I think if Austin Dillon got out of the driver's seat and went into the captain's seat right there at RCR, I think that dude is amazing with that bull riding franchise.
Carolina Cowboys are pretty badass. They're on top of their game over there.
Yeah, I've had some conversations with JJ Gotch, and he's like, that dude needs to run RCR because he is just unbelievable with what he does with that franchise. So I think that would be the way right there to where you kind of clear the deck. And if you're going to make a manufacturer change, and I think that would be the time to do it, where we talk about, with RCR, it's like, if you're going to do that with a new OEM, I mean, put it. I see Jerry, the Cowboys reference right there. When Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys, what did he do? He got rid of Tom Landry, and everything changed. I mean, I think that's what needs to happen right there, because they're low on the pecking order at Chevrolet right now.
I mean, it's the most obvious choice that probably won't be made. I mean, because there's nobody. I mean, Colleague for the trucks, that makes sense, but Colleague and Cup. They're going to have to, if they become a Dodge team in the Cup Series, they're going to have to move off the RCR campus because they're right all the way up there in Welcome, right there just down the road from down the hill from RCR. So it's like, it just because if you get Colleague and you get RCR, that's a 4-car team. That's a 4-car Dodge team. That's all you really need. Because think about it, for years, it was only the 4 Joe Gibbs cars that were Toyota. Then you get the two 2311s, and now 3 2311s and the 2 legacies. So it's kind of like, you get the 4 Dodge cars to start out, and I don't know who else you get after that, but I mean, it just makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to happen as long as Childress's boots walk through that front door and his name's across that door.
Yeah, that's the whole thing where there has to be change, and I totally think that Austin is more in the like we talk about modern phases of business and so forth, to where he would be more apt to be open to do stuff like that, because he gets it, and he would definitely need to be out of the driver's seat. I mean, if he's going to try to be operating that organization, and he's going to try to be a driver at the same time, I mean, that there's
they don't work out that great for Jimmy Johnson.
No, and how has legacy improved so much now that Jimmy Johnson is, I'm assuming he's done. So anyway, lastly tonight, so with the Snowball Derby coming up, obviously first weekend in December there at Five Flags Speedway, it comes out yesterday. Well, first, our thoughts to Bubba Pollard. Broke a bone in his hand. Actually, I think that happened at Toledo. Actually raced at Pensacola in the Blizzard Series, coming home 9th. Congratulations to Dawson Sutton winning that race.
He smoked their ass on that one too.
Yeah, he absolutely did. But Bubba Pollard, okay, here it is. Let's set it. You know, Bubba's history there at the Derby. Take a little time off, get that hand ready, come back in December, and finally get that monkey off his back. What do you think? If you had some scratch, would you put it on that?
Well, the problem is does he get rusty?
No.
Does Bubba get rusty by not racing? I'm just saying. You know, is he a guy that would get rusty after taking a couple of weeks off, a couple of months off?
I mean, you know how Bubba's going to rehab that hand. He'll have one of these in that hand. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It'd be just be like going around the corner at Pensacola. It'd be all right. Yeah. So all the best to our man.
It's going to be like the Derby of old with the tire situation, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Back to the F45s, and I heard that they put up a checkpoint over there at the Florida state line for all these people from Texas going over there to get those S1s and S3s to sell them to the factory stock drivers.
They don't look like asphalt tires now if they let them groove them.
I know. I see that, and I'm like, man, that looks like them old Goodyears we used to run. Yeah. So yeah, the F45. So again, tire selling franchise, right there.
Tire selling money making machine, part of the underside of the Snowball Derby.
Yep. 4 or 5 days of. Let me go put 4 laps on these tires right quick, and then put some other ones on. Bobby, go get me 4 more.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, at what, 1,800 a set, 1,200 a set?
They go through tires like we go through the taquitos, man. It's like, damn. Hey, there you go. If you got it, you got it. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Back to the F45. You know, we've got friends at Pensacola. We got friends at all these tracks. By the way, sprint cars at Mobile this weekend. Sprint cars at Five Flags. Five Flags has the 410s.
Yeah, the must-see cars. Yeah,
man, that's going to be pretty hellacious right there. And they've got our man Bobby Santos going to that one. So
nice.
Yeah, that ought to be a pretty good one. So yeah, sprint cars. I think it's 305s or 360s. I don't know.
Probably 360, I would think.
Yeah. So yeah, plenty of sprint cars over on the pavement. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say with that. Anyway, whatever. A couple of events to talk about right here. Bobby, I'll have to talk to you. Like I said, I leave for Biloxi. I leave for Biloxi, Mississippi on Saturday. So I don't know. Don't know a lot of what all is going to be going on. So we'll figure out next week. But next week you do have coming up right there, Oktoberfest. So a big one coming up at Cotton Bowl Speedway there. You were there this past weekend. So looking forward to that one there with H and Marianne.
It'll be a lot of fun. Good momentum. Always weird on a 2-day show. Don't know what track's going to do the second day, but we'll be in there. I'm not gonna make it to Cotton Bowl for the Oktoberfest this year, but yeah, it was fun seeing a lot of old friends there on Saturday. So
yep. And then following that, coming up the following week on the South Texas agenda, you've got the Texana Clash. There's your freshly released format of everything there. You've got money in the factory stock, big money race for the factory stocks. I think that hopefully will bring in some invaders there for the 55-44 winner share. Really good money in the limited modifieds and so forth and so on, all the way down there. So a couple of big South Texas shows here as we venture into October.
Now I will be there for that.
Yeah, be there for that one. There for that one. Also, very happy to see that coming up on October 23rd and 25th, you will the Fall Classic will roll on at Heart of Texas Speedway after the passing there of Jerry Friedrich. The Bet All 13 Lucky 13. I like that. That's Jerry's team. Yep, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. Lots of good stuff. Great program, man. We even learned about the next gen car today, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
we knew they were close. We didn't realize they were that close.
Yeah, absolutely. You notice that I didn't bitch about it as much when we got done. I'm like, holy smoke, damn. I've been enlightened today. So anyway, yeah, good stuff. Thanks to Chase Haley for checking in with us, and all of you as well. Rest of the week for you, my man.
Let's see here. At some point, I have to get over to my mother-in-law's house for her birthday. I think her birthday's today, so I may buzz over there tonight to say happy birthday.
Call her.
And then I got to go haunted housing on Friday night.
Already?
What's
today?
And then we'll be doing the banquet on Saturday. And then next week, just try to survive the week and get ready to go for the wife's birthday in 2 weeks? Yeah, not this upcoming week, but next week.
Damn,
and then work on finally find some Halloween costumes for Steve's party.
So you think your mother-in-law's birthday is today?
I think it's today.
And you think your wife's birthday is in 2 weeks?
Well, I know the date, but I don't remember which week it is.
You might want to figure that shit out, buddy. I do know that my wedding anniversary is October 21st, and I think I'm out of town. So yeah, I think I better figure out what I'm going to do about that. So
oops.
Anyway, yeah, well, hey, duty calls, man. Duty calls. I tell the wife all the time when it's like I'm out of town for events. I'm like, I mean, if you want, I can quit my job. She's like, no. So yeah.
She don't want you around the house that much again.
Don't do that. Don't do that. There's no money in radio, she says. Bullshit. Come on, man. So anyway, all right, great program.
How do you think I afforded all these toys and cars behind us? It's all this extra radio shit we do.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, I got to be making money because the Amazon truck keeps showing up. I mean, I've got to be doing something right. Every now and then, a U.S. Postal Service shows up, FedEx, and there's got to be money coming in from somewhere, right? That doesn't quite go over so well. All right, all of you, thank you. Again, stay tuned to the socials. We'll figure out next week. Like I said, I'll be cruising the coast over in Biloxi for work, so it's going to be just a little out of hand. So we'll figure out what we're going to do, but I always take the gear with me. So if there's a way, we'll figure out how to make that happen. All right, Bobby, have a great rest of the week. Thank you all for being a part of the program. A great weekend to all of you. And by the way, I do have to mention this. APD, way to go. Finally glad that the yogurt shop murder is just a horrible, horrible thing. Finally glad that maybe those folks are going to get some closure, because God, terrible. Absolutely terrible. All right, you guys, we'll see you next week, if not the following week. # Real Race Talk from Texas. This has been the Revved Up Sports Show. Be well, everybody.